Okay, so we saw it happen with Irvine, we saw it happen with Newport Beach, but are these massive changes coming to the greater Orange County real estate market as a whole? Well, spoiler alert, not that it's a surprise, yes, they are. And whether you are a buyer, a seller, or you're just bored scrolling around YouTube, you got to know about this stuff because it will affect your ability to purchase a home or sell the one you currently have. So let's go ahead and dive in. It's Andrew Parker, your real estate agent here in sunny Southern California, helping you with your real estate needs. If you or anyone you know is looking to buy or sell around Orange County, feel free to give me a call. I would be happy to help out. Also, by the way, we're at like 97, 98. Please, dear God, don't let it go down to 96. But we are right around 100 subscribers, which is the goal for 2022. So if you can hit that subscribe button, if you haven't already, join the family, join the crew, be ahead of the curve of these real estate trends. That would be amazing. It helps me out a ton. Okay, before we dive into the rest of today's video, I just want to preface it with a couple notes from our meeting with Stephen Thomas, who is a chief real estate economist here in Orange County when he came into our meeting at Douglas Elliman. If you weren't able to watch the video for Irvine or Newport Beach, then I want to make sure that you get these notes as well. First off, demand is lower than it has been even during a normal year for the month of April, and that is not good. So before the COVID era, we're still lower than that level of demand, and we really want to see demand as well as new listings start to ramp up during the spring and summer months because that's usually what we're supposed to see. People are willing to buy and sell, move from their home during the spring and summer so that they can be moved into their new home before the school year starts in the fall. And unfortunately, right now, we are not really seeing that. Now, obviously, a big reason of that is because of the rapidly increasing interest rates. Unfortunately, that has taken a big hit on our buyers' purchasing power, and that's not helping them out in any way. Another note I want you to take away, especially you sellers out there, is that the active inventory is being built up on overpriced homes that are not selling. I'll say that again. Active inventory is being built up on overpriced homes that are not selling. It is super important for you sellers out there to reach fair market value quickly and not overprice your homes. The days are somewhat gone of just shooting for the sky in terms of your price and every buyer will flock to you and still pay for it. If you do not have the highest quality property on the market in your area, it's going to be really, really difficult to get those prices so high. My recommendation, as well as Stephen Thomas's recommendation, would be to start around fair market value, if not lower, so that these buyers that just had a huge hit on their purchasing power don't run away from your listing, but instead all flock to it, and maybe you can get some of the last of the bidding wars that are going to be happening over the next few months. So make sure that you are not the overpriced home on the block, especially if your quality of your property, and I'm sorry, I hope emotions can stay out of this, but if your quality of your property is not as high as that price you're trying to list it at, you'll really need to come down to earth because right now it is very, very important. Otherwise, your home just will not sell. All right, let's start off with the new listings brought to the market during the month of April for Orange County in 2022. We were down to 3,182 new properties that were brought to the market. That is 13.7% less than what we saw in April of 2021. Now, on top of that, something really important to keep note of is that if we do the 4-year running average for 2017, 18, 19, and 21, getting rid of the beginning of the pandemic for April of 2020, that 4-year running average for April was 3,937 properties. We're at 3,100, almost 3,200. That is 19% less in terms of our new inventory coming onto the market than what we would like to see during a normal April. So that is not good out there. If you currently own a home and you want to help the cause, not to say you should sell your home if you love it, but help our buyers out. We could really use some more inventory. Now, in terms of our active listings, we went up to 3,168. That is a 20% decrease from what we saw in 2021. Remember, we want to see a hump. So this typical cyclical nature of real estate, every single year there should be a bit of a camel hump that goes on. This just shows the amount of inventory coming onto the market and the amount of demand going on. In 2021, we did not see that because not only did we have lower inventory, but also we had a ton of demand, like crazy amounts of demand that just ate into that hump. The good thing is that the hump is starting. The bad thing is if we go over to the new listings, we're not seeing a true hump going on here to where we need it to be. Remember, our April levels are 19% less than what the typical year should be. We want this thing to be way up here, if you can see my cursor, so that we can have a bit of a normal market going on. And that would be the reason why our active listings are going up. Right now, our active listings are going up because homes are sitting. It's currently up 26% from last month. So just in March, April is up 26% on that. And you can imagine if we go over to new listings, with new listings going down month to month, that means that those 26% more active listings are not coming from new inventory. It's coming from old inventory that is currently sitting. And that goes back to that line. If you have an overpriced home on the market, it might not sell, and you'll eventually need to make a price reduction, or you might just get fed up with the market and not know what's going on. It is because these buyers just took a massive hit, with their purchasing power due to interest rates. So play into that. Don't try to, hold on for dear life with every price that you want to make. If you want to sell your home, ultimately that should be your massive goal, not so much of squeezing every single dollar out of things. That right now is not working in this market. Our pending sales is a terrifying graph to look at because month to month, we had a massive fallout. We had 24% less properties going into escrow during the month at 2,122. Now, that is not what we want to be seeing during the month of April. Usually the month of April is around the peak of the year, really, in terms of how much demand there is. Remember, pending sales is the way that we measure our demand here in Orange County. And unfortunately, that is not the case for this year. You can see basically every other April, if we hit over to those in the past years, that's usually around the peak of the year. So for us to be tanking during April for 2022, that is more evidence that buyers are coming out of the market due to the fact that their purchasing power just took a massive hit. Sellers, be aware of this. This is pure evidence right in front of you. This is why you need to not be the overpriced home on the block. Now, with demand going down in Orange County, it makes sense to see the closed sales go down as well, and that's what happened. We are down to 2,569 properties that closed during the month of April. That is a 26% decrease from April of 2021, and that's also less than what we saw just in March. So that is not the trend we want to be seeing. Hopefully for May that'll change, but I'm really not sure if it will due to the fact that interest rates have just been rising throughout this time. We really want to be seeing April's month go up, right? Because during the spring and summer months, that's when most people are willing to buy and sell homes so that they can be moved in before the start of the school year for next year. But right now we're not seeing that. And that is not good. Now, our days on market is actually pretty weird because right now with the median, we are at 7 days on market for Orange County, which is a 0% change from what we saw in 2021 because we were at 7 then as well. And then our average days on market is even weirder because we're at 13, which is a 40.9% decrease from what we saw in 2021. Now, this should not be trending downward as steeply as it is right now due to the fact that a ton of demand just left the building. Really, we should be seeing the days on market start to pick up. And so this data could be a little bit delayed, or what might be happening is that the homes that are selling, the high quality homes that are well priced, is selling so quickly because buyers don't really have any high quality options aside from that, that those are carrying the weight of these average and median days on market, whereas the other overpriced homes are taking a little bit longer to sell. Now, our month supply of inventory just went up about 33% month over month. We are up to 1.2 month supply of inventory in April. That is still 7.7% less than what we saw during 2021 for April. Now, relative to a balanced market, this is still incredibly low. We are very deep in a seller's market. Remember, a seller's market is said to be around 6 months supply of inventory or less. And then anything above that would be a buyer's market. So being that this is trending upward, that is giving our buyers a little bit more negotiating leverage, but it's not to say that when you submit an offer, you're going to be able to ask for everything you want and more. That's not really what's going to happen. I think right now, while we shift into this changing market, I think if you get into escrow, like your offer gets accepted, and then you have to negotiate some things like repairs or whatever concessions or credits you need from the seller, that might be able to go your way now. But I don't think you're going to be able to have too much leverage before you get into escrow yet. So keep that in mind when you are submitting an offer. Now, our price per square foot is still incredibly high. In fact, it's so high that you can't even really see it if I have the graph like that. We are up to $628 on the median level. That's a 26% increase year over year. And then if we go over to the average, we are up at $689, which is a 22.4% increase from last year. So still, each square foot of those homes in Orange County are selling for top dollar. So it's still a good time to sell if you want to be selling at kind of the peak of the market or the highest prices. Right now is a good time to do it. Now, our sales to list price percentage is starting to show a little bit of a slowdown. Now, keep in mind, it's still 105.5%. So it's 5.5% over list price on the median level, which is a 3.9% increase from last year. That's still incredibly high for a giant county like Orange County. So not to say that like this is not good at all for sellers out there. No. What I am saying, though, is if you can see over the past few months, it has been showing a bit of a slowdown in terms of its growth, which could be showing a little bit of a peak. If we go over to the average, I can actually expand this a little bit more so that you can see better. You are seeing a decrease from 106.1 to 106.0 from March to April. So not much of a change at all. Homes are still selling 6% over list price, but it could be showing a bit of a peak. Once we get through May and we get those numbers, it'll be interesting to see if this peak continues. If it does, that's going to be indicating that these bidding wars might start slowing down a lot faster. Again, that would make sense considering the fact that purchasing power took a big hit. But right now, you still can sell for a lot of money and you're still able to get bidding wars going on. Now, our sales price in Orange County at the median level went up to $1,060,000. That's a 19% increase year over year. If we go over to the average, we are at $1,396,000 for the average sales price around Orange County, which is just insane. It seems like just yesterday we were excited for the $1 million mark, but that was all the way back in September, actually August of 2020 was when we first crossed that line. That's very exciting for Orange County back then, but since then, you've made $400,000 more on the average sales price. That's a 17.5% increase year over year. And like we said with our Irvine and Newport videos, this is kind of where you have to ask yourself as a seller, when is enough enough? If you've been holding on to your home, whether it's a secondary home or your primary, just for the, to squeeze every penny out of it, or if you're an investor and you just wanted to make every dollar you can before liquidating, you've made every dollar you can. And when is enough enough? Right now, you can still sell your home for a short amount of time and a high amount of money. And before you really start to see the massive effects going on with this purchasing power issue that just happened with these interest rates, I think it would be a really good time to start selling if that is your goal. If you're happy where you live and you can afford it well, and that's ultimately what matters to you, then obviously do not sell. But for those of you who have been trying to wait for the green to keep on coming before you cash out, now's a really good time to take advantage of it. That's been Market Monday. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel. It helps me out a ton, and we are so close to 100 subscribers, so help me out there. Also, be sure to follow Andrew Parker Realty on all social media for more property tours, market updates, and real estate tips. And finally, if you have any questions or comments of your own, be sure to leave them in the comment section below or shoot me a DM. I would be happy to respond or make a video answering the questions that you guys have. All right, I'll see you in the next one.